Hello, and thank you for joining me for today's anime discussion. This week's theme is adventure, and so this week I'm going to talk about 5 of my favorite adventure-themed anime. Now, this was a tough list because obviously there are a lot of great anime out there, and I've seen a ton of them, but I tried to keep the list more contemporary. There are 1 or 2 that might be considered classics, but here we go. Number 5 is going to be High School Prodigies Have It Easy Even in Another World. Now, this is a more recent anime that has aired, and it's kind of an isekai anime as well. It's important to note, though, that high school in Japan is a different concept than high school in America. What we would think of as high school is college. So in this anime, like, don't lock everybody into the high school or high school demographic or even college demographic. Like, all of the cast is young, but they're all prodigies, so to speak. Prodigies under a certain age. Anyway, so it follows the story of these 7 prodigies that happen to their young. They happen to be on the same plane. The plane gets transported to another world. They're skilled in various different fields. There's 7 of them. The main character, or the leader of the group, is the youngest Prime Minister of Japan. He is, skilled in politics, is his deal. And the others are skilled in different areas: science, medicine, magic, swordsmanship, and different things like that. And so this kind of follows their decisions. So, the world that they go to is a fantasy world that doesn't have a high level of technology, and their standards of living and social customs are vastly different from a modern day era. So they decide to kind of change the world, and so the story kind of follows their changing of that and also figuring out how and why they got to the world that they're in. So that's number 5. Number 4 is Gate. Now, again, I talked about this in the previous video, the Saga of Tanya the Evil video. I'm not a super big fan of anime with a military theme all of the time, but this one was fun for me, so the story of it deals with a portal opening up in modern day Japan to a fantasy world, and the Japanese army sends in some special forces to, as they start to explore the land and kind of try to get some resources from it, or, influence it in different ways, or prevent it from influencing us, because it's a fantasy world. There are monsters, there are elves, and there's magic in that world. So, it's kind of like one of those things. What I feel like what's most interesting to me about the show is that, it's the theme of science versus magic. If you had a grand wizard, or, with a wand, and somebody with a firearm, which one would win, and that kind of thing. But it's an anime that I really enjoyed. It's kind of a classical storyline with, the main character, Yuji, he's an otaku, though. He's into things like fantasy and anime and elves and things like that. So kind of going to that world is like a dream come true if you're able to go to your perfect fantasy world. But anyway, that's number 4. Now, number 3 is one of the anime on this list that can be considered a classic. It's called Slayers. Now, this one, it deals with the main character, Lena Inverse, and her friends as they go on different adventures everybody in the group has something kind of going on, usually at some point, some goal that they need to achieve, something that they need to, accomplish. You have, Lena Inverse, the main character. She's a sorceress. She's improving her sorcery, and really, though, her main focus is on money. But you also have, Zelgadis, who has been turned into a golem or a homunculus and has to find a way to be turned back into a human. You have a princess that wants to go spread justice throughout the world, and I think she initially joins the party to save her kingdom. It has a very interesting cast of characters. It's a classic. It's from the 90s. It's one of the first anime that I remember being aired here in America. So, particularly for me, it has kind of a special significance almost, as a kid growing up in the 90s. But that's number 3. Number 2 is Toriko. Now, Toriko is an interesting show. It's a jump. It's a jump based on a jump manga. The show itself follows the titular character Toriko, who the world that he inhabits is a world where humans have these things called gourmet cells in them, and gourmet cells allow them to do superhuman things, and you also get energy and abilities from eating food, from eating different types of food, but the food is special, the preparation of ingredients of it can be quite difficult because it's a world that's very large and diverse and has a very dangerous biome, almost to say. Imagine something like a 10-meter long dragon that you have to somehow catch and cook into food, and you're a human, that kind of thing. But Toriko is a part of an organization. There are 2 conflicting organizations in the world. There's a group that Toriko's part of that they believe in sustainability, right? So this show is kind of also a commentary on sustainability, but not in, an overly drawn out way, but they believe that you need to take care of ingredients, preserve them so that they're there for you to partake of. And then you have the other organization that's more consume at all costs. We don't need to worry about making sure there's any of this food left for anybody. We'll eat all of this type of fish that exists and leave none to breed, or try to breed any to make sure that they continue to exist. So I guess the sustainability versus non-sustainable, food cycle. And so this show is, since it's a jump one of the great things about this show, is that it has a crossover episode with One Piece and Dragon Ball Z. 2 other jump heroes, Goku and Luffy, which brings us to number 1, which is One Piece. Now, of all these different anime that I've talked about today on the list, that have the theme of adventure in them, you have ones that a group of friends, like in Slayers. Toriko is really more focused on the main character and his partner Komatsu. You have Gate, which is also more focused on the main character, the specific officer in the Japanese Self-Defense Force, and also in number 5, which was high school, Prodigies Have It Easy in Another World. There's 7 main characters. There's 1 leader, which there is in One Piece, but there are 9 crew members currently in the Straw Hat crew. Now, One Piece has been going on for quite a while. It has almost 1,000 episodes and over 1,000 chapters. So many movies that it's hard to keep track of them. But this has been an epic almost. This was one of the titles that was popular at the same time as Bleach and Naruto. But this one has still not yet come to a conclusion. It follows the story of a boy named Monkey D. Luffy, and he has rubber powers. He has the ability to stretch any part of his body from eating something called the devil fruit. In the world of One Piece, like on Earth, it's 70% water. In the world of One Piece, the world is like over 90% water. So most of the land is very scarce there. So devil fruit users, though, lose the ability to swim when they gain that special ability of theirs, which is kind of funny. But Luffy wants to be the king of the pirates because there is a very famous pirate who, before he was executed, said that he left all of his treasure in a specific place, and that kind of started an age of different pirates driving different people to become pirates. But the story is a lot more complicated than that. There are different, political ramifications and different things that go on behind the scenes. One of my favorite things about the show is that since it's been so long running, it has had time to develop the characters. And you've had time to get to know them, their individual backstories, their ins and outs, what they like, what they don't like. And maybe that's why, even to this day, it's still a big fan favorite and a very popular title. So that's my number one. Of my five of my favorite action-themed anime that I've watched. Stay tuned. This week's craft is this easy origami sword. So what we're going to do is start with a square piece of paper. And then we're going to fold it diagonally twice, and then also vertically and horizontally. So I'll start with one diagonal fold, making sure to get it straight like that. And then I'll fold it diagonally again. Down the center. And then I'll fold it in half like this. And one last fold to create quarters. Alright, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold in one of the edges to the center here, and I'll fold the opposite edge into the center as well. Get it straight and crease it there. Alright, then we'll fold. I'm folding it back like this to make sure that I get the right crease in the middle here, because we're going to then fold to the middle again, like this. Alright, and then another middle fold. And these two pieces that are sticking out here, I'm going to fold those into the center as well. Now there's a fold already in the center from earlier when we folded this paper, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this so that the tip barely touches at the top right there, and then I'm going to take this middle section here. I'm going to create like a smaller diamond under the top two diamonds under the bottom. I'll show you in a minute. Right there. You see how it creates a little diamond right there. Alright, then I'm going to take the bottom portion that's sticking out, I'm going to fold this over, and I'm going to create a little pyramid here on the side. And then I'm going to do the same thing over on the other side. After that, I am going to fold up the bottom, because this is going to be the hilt of our sword. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another fold here. Fold the hilt up like that, and then create a little fold. Now this fold will be half of the distance left between the middle and the hilt. And my last step is to fold up the sides here that are sticking out and flatten those down. And ta-da! Easy origami sword. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what your top 5 favorite adventure-themed anime are. As with all of our crafts, you can use any size paper or any color. Thanks for watching. Please visit us online at hcpl.net, as well as download the Overdrive or Libby app in order to check out our electronic materials, including ebooks and e-audiobooks. Also, please follow us on social media in order to keep updated on new content from the North Channel Branch Library and Harris County Public Library Systems. Thank you for watching.